Hello everybody, I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. I want to show you guys a neat little thing that I've built here. We have ourselves two absolutely ordinary quartz block hallways, but the thing is about them, I can go ahead and walk through this hallway and I came out of the other one. I'll show you one more time. Here I am on the left and I can walk right through and come out on the right. No cuts, no video editing, just as simple as that. Now this is using a trick which is pretty common in a lot of adventure maps, but also is just useful for creative building, and it is called seamless teleportation. So first I want to show you guys how seamless teleportation works, in particular how does this hallway that I've made here work, and then I'm just gonna have some fun with seamless teleportation and make a few things that have kind of been on my mind. So the setup for this is actually unbelievably simple. We have a single command block located right here under our left hallway. The command itself is not even that complicated. We're just taking all players that are pretty much in the hallway and teleporting them to the right 6 blocks. That means that here, if I put some kind of obvious marker, right, as I'm walking here, at some point if I get close enough, I just teleport to the other side. Actually, that looks pretty cool on its own, I'm gonna be honest. The only tricky thing about this is you absolutely 100% have to use relative coordinates rather than absolute coordinates. If I instead put in like the actual coordinates of where I want the person to be teleporting, and I walk through, it looks super janky. And that's because I could be like all the way to the left in this hallway, or all the way to the right, or wherever, and if I just teleport myself straight to the middle of this block, it's not going to look good. If we use our good friends, the absolute coordinates, however, then I can be as far to the right or as far to the left as I want, and wherever in the hallway I am, I end up at the same spot in this hallway. So that's kind of enough explanation, I think. I'm not really intending for this to be like a whole tutorial. I just wanted to give a brief overview of how this mechanic actually works. So now we can get into some fun stuff. So the first of these ideas that I wanted to make is an infinite falling loop. And so I have created, using the new build limit, a rather tall tower that we can actually only just barely see the top of. So just like before, what I'm going to do is somewhere like fairly near the bottom, but not at like the very bottom, I am going to place a repeating command block. And I'm just going to put in the kind of same command as before, noting again the use of relative coordinates, which use the tilde, like this. And as soon as I activate this, I'm going to get teleported. Nope. Now, as soon as I activate this, I'm going to get teleported straight up into the air, and if I fall down, you'll see eventually I get teleported back up. Obviously, the effect does not really work when we're outside, but I'm hoping that if I fly up a little bit higher and go into our tower here, we can get something nice going. So falling in 3, 2, 1. Wow, I didn't really do it when I said I was gonna. Ooh. So a couple of issues here. So issue number 1 is that we started to see the grass as we approached the bottom there, which basically just means I need to move the command block higher up. And issue number 2 is I forgot to make the relative coordinates relative to the player and not the command block. Hopefully once I go in here and fall, we'll get some nice... we kind of have a loading issue. I think this can probably be fixed by just like changing the distance that it teleports me up. Because that way, hopefully, the stuff up here will still be, like, loaded properly by the time I get down to the command block. No. Maybe if I just make that number, like, really small. If I go in here and start falling... Oh, yeah, that works much better. We can kind of see the grass down at the bottom again, so I'm just going to, not that, literally turn down my, render distance. Because No, that causes new problems, definitely. What is going on here? Okay, I think the problem might be the glowstone rings, which honestly were kind of annoying me anyway, so I'm going to try getting rid of those. If it doesn't work, then bummer. All right, one more shot. If this doesn't work, I really am not sure what will, but it's not bad, but we are very definitively getting some like jittering. Maybe if I just up the distance we're teleporting slightly, we can find some kind of happy middle ground. Well, we are no longer getting the stuttering, but we are getting the flashes. All right, 20. It's gotta be 20. It's gotta be 100%. I guarantee it. The Henry Cat guarantee, which is something I've just made up, is coming out. And as it turns out, the Henry Cat guarantee was pretty much right, because it's not perfect in either direction. We get a little bit of the flashes and we also get a little bit of the stuttering. But sometimes we go kind of a while without either, and then the effect is pretty good. So I mean, like, yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, that did not really work as intended. You know what, I'm gonna say it's good enough. Because there's literally nothing I can do about it. If it's not good enough, I got nothing. Next up, I wanted to make a kind of infinite loop maze. So my idea is you walk in here and then you kind of get teleported into an infinite loop, which I have over here. So you kind of step in and then you have no way of escaping. The way that I figured this can probably work is actually quite simple. When you're somewhere like over here, you can't see outside and you can't actually see around this corner to see that this is a dead end. And so that is when I can strike, and I'll basically just teleport the player over to like the same spot in this maze. So now you're over here, you're around this corner, and you're just part of the infinite loop. And if you turn back around, you're still in the infinite loop. So if I just make sure I have the teleportation distance actually right, perfect. It's literally completely seamless. So yeah, I think it's gonna work pretty well. I don't really see much point in showing you guys all the commands. I'm literally kind of just doing the same exact thing every time. So yeah, I'll see you in a second. All right, command block is in place. And so now if I walk right into this loop, oh, and then if I turn around, I'm just trapped. I'm just trapped. There's literally no escape. It's kind of spooky. I mean, like, imagine you just have this mysterious tunnel. You go in and you get like here, and then you're like, I don't know about this, and then you turn around and nope, no escape. I don't know, maybe it's not quite as cool as I think it is, but you can see why it's used a lot in like adventure maps and stuff, because this kind of thing has a lot of potential for like spooky tricks. Now, the last thing I want to do is make a house that is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, because that's kind of a classic thing. The one problem with this plan is that it requires me to first actually build a nice looking house, which, if you know anything about me, is not really my specialty, but, you know, hopefully if I just... boom. Okay, there is a 100% chance that I screwed that transition up, and also it was probably a little disappointing because this house is not exactly attractive. What I was realizing about it when I built it is that the outside doesn't have to be attractive, only the inside does. Of course, I don't really think the inside is all that attractive either, but it's better than the outside at least. Besides, this is honestly just for demonstration purposes, so really I don't care that much. So the trickiest part about this was the entrance, because I had to somehow set it up so that there was a spot where you can't see the inside. I think it's probably okay if you can see the outside, because I'm going to just have it have like the exact same view, but if you can see the inside, obviously the entire thing gets screwed up. That's why the entrance looks like this, with this weird pillar just kind of sitting here. So if I build myself another tiny little hut, I think it's just the same dealio of setting up a little repeating command block to teleport me right over there. Okay, with our command set up and already running, if I walk in here, there was definitely a bit of a stutter there. Let me try that again. You know what? Whatever. It worked well enough. So we see ourselves a tiny little, still unattractive hut right here. We walk in, and then it's actually a nice big hut. That's pretty cool, honestly. One issue with it is that right now, when you walk out, you're still over at the big hut. To be honest with you, dealing with this is a tiny bit tricky. Here's the thing, if I just set up another repeating command block in exactly the same spot, it's just going to teleport me back and forth between the two houses over and over again, and that's not helpful. So instead, I'll make a little diagram here to show. I think what we need to have, right, is if we have some kind of passageway, right, like this is this house and this is this house, I think the repeating command block in this one needs to be like here, and in this one it needs to be here. Because then what happens is if I'm walking along in this house and I get to the repeating command block, I jump over. And then I'm already past this command block, so I'm not going to get teleported out as I keep walking in. The one issue with this potentially is that there just will not be enough space, but I think I'll probably be able to make it happen. The one issue that did just occur to me is, since they both have a distance set of 1, it might have like a tiny, you know, like little itty bit of overlap between the two radiuses, which, oh, that completely tripped me up. As I was saying, it might have a tiny difference between the two radii, which maybe is contributing to some of the stuttering. I don't know, but it's worth changing and seeing if it's any better. I don't know, dude. Seems fine. Let's go. I really like this, actually. I mean, minus the obnoxious stuttering. I really like, you know, if we ignore the fact that we can see it over there, we have this tiny hut, and you walk in, and it's a different hut. The effect was completely destroyed again by the stuttering. But you guys know what I mean. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Even if it's not perfect, I think it's cool. To be clear, this is like a mini version of this that I set up in, you know, 5 minutes. If someone were to actually take the time and really do a good job of this, it can be so cool. So, you know, I encourage you guys to experiment with this particular thing, because it's one of my favorite little tricks in like all of command blocks. So with that, I think we are probably just about done here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really had fun making this video. I do want to acknowledge briefly the fact that I said, you know, 2 months ago, or like 5 months ago now, that, oh, in January I'll be able to start uploading more, and it is now March, and I have uploaded precisely like 1 video before this one in 2022. That's for a few reasons. Partially, the work did not all disappear come January as I had hoped it would, but also, I've been struggling a little bit with finding ideas for all my videos. I still love working with command blocks and making these kinds of videos, but I want to make sure I'm making videos that are actually worth making. You know, I don't want to spend time seeking out ideas for videos that realistically just would not be that good. So I do definitely still have some big ideas in the works, and those will come out eventually, but, you know, if I'm continue to post somewhat infrequently, that's why, and I am sorry for that, but there's nothing I can do about it. With that said, to everyone who has stuck with me through these last several months where I have been fairly inactive, you guys are absolutely the best, and I cannot thank you enough. So, yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.